What that when we talk about the topic that we have today. Okay, let me see. I'm just presenting. Is my screen visible, Rohit? I'm just trying to put it on full.
Yes, yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely. Okay. So in the chat, if I see, okay, people are still writing. Where are they joining from? Good evening and yes, welcome everybody to the session. So as we have, oh, there's a raise hand feature. Sandeep Srivastav. Yes. Is there anything that you want to share? Okay. Rohit, would you help me with that if there are any raise hands or anything that you think we can take up in wherever? I would rely for that on.
Uh,
Yeah.
Everyone in the audience, I would request you all to ask the questions in the Q&A box.
Yeah.
And we have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So we will take up your questions by then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the queries that all of us have here, let's start. The idea is Rohit has just introduced me, but I just want to share one thing with all of you that I've been into classroom. I have been a full-time classroom teacher. Working outside the classroom has also been, a very different learning experience for me. So what brings me here is the fact that all of us are looking at some changes that the schooling, the education sector is going through, right? So let's see what we can do together. What can we collectively bring up as our exploratory inquiry, right? So when you say personalized learning, I invite everybody to think of the fact that you're here for gaining something in the session. And if you do have your questions, which is great, you can put them in the chat or you can simply write somewhere in your notebook and then we will take up the questions today. Right? So moving forward, if I just ask you one little question, let's begin with questions. I love to start with questions. If learning is personalized for our learners, right? We are here for the topic is personalized learning, the future of education, right? So is it the future or the present? What is it that brings you here? So I asked you. So please respond to this prompt. If learning is personalized for our learners, what do we expect through personalized learning? Good evening. In the chat, you can just respond. I hope everyone's able to listen to me. If learning is personalized for our learners, what do we expect? Like, I expect more confidence in my students. Okay, Shalini writes, deep conceptual understanding, better learning outcome. Jayaprakash, thank you. Ownership, lovely, yes. Increased ownership, we can say. Okay, to enhance learning. Think about your context. What do you think if you would make an effort towards personalizing learning? They'll gain clarity, all right. What else will they gain? What do you think it will bring to our learners? Clarity, better engagement, okay. Yeah, we are here, Muhammad Atif Ali, absolutely for our learning also. As a student, more interested, confident, happy. Okay, learner center education. Great. That's a great point. So we have a few more questions here. Just keep responding silently to two, three things here. Now let's think about the fact that, okay, unique characteristics. Reveal. Yes, Jawahar, absolutely. So it will help our learners learning as per their need, very good, but better participation of the student. Every learner must learn as per their ability, Deepti writes, very relevant. Active learning. Okay. Now let's think of the fact that what do we need to achieve this? We need active learning, Kiran writes. Okay. All right. What else do we need? Three things I'm writing. Can we think of three things? I think I need better lessons, or maybe I need to plan my lessons better, right? To be able to personalize learning for my children. Audiovisual learning, okay. Competency, Kiran, do you mean competency based learning or teacher competency you're asking? Okay. Let's think, tickle the muscle a little bit. What is it that we need? Based, competency-based learning. Okay. Building connections with real life. Beautiful. Okay. Do come back, Amritesh Tiwari ji. Everybody has a different style of learning. Yes. Able to deliver lesson in an effective manner. Can we think of three things? Hmm. Okay, we have a Pranabita writes, we need, it aims to customize learning, yes. Role modeling, beautiful. Maybe as a teacher, that's the first thing or as a school leader, or, as a facilitator, I really need to model this aspect. Very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So we need role modeling, we need competency-based learning, we also need to build connections with real life, better lesson plans. The question, Jayaprakash, is on the screen. Can't see everyone's answers. Okay. Yeah, multimodal. It's a webinar mode, so maybe you're not able to see the responses to each other, but therefore I'm reading it. What is this session be about? Okay. Okay, there are a variety of questions. Need 21st century skill role model for students. All right. Next question that we have, just a series of questions. What is the need? Why do we need it? Why do we even need it? Yeah. Does it ever occur to you the question? Okay. Addressing gaps. Yes, we need to address gaps. So we acknowledge there are gaps, right? We acknowledge. Every individual has a learning style. Yes. I'm reading it out, participants, because maybe it's a webinar mode, so you're not able to see each other's chat response. So I'm reading it out. Every learner learns at his or her own pace. Yes, we need to acknowledge that, Dipti. Beautiful. What else? Why do we need it? For effective learning, to bring confidence in child. Okay. So there are beliefs also which come out, right? That we need. Okay. Yes. So every learner does not, every we can say that all learners are different, right? So just a thought here. And one question that I want to leave you with, this is the last one right now as we are diving into the session. What role do you think technology has to play in helping schools or any educational institute personalize learning, right? So we request you to think about it because you're talking about future of learning. And we are also looking at, there's a lot of noise about digital skills, digital pedagogy. CBSE holds a lot of webinars on the topic, and teachers competency building on using digital tools, right? So there's a lot of noise around. Let's think as a group, what role does technology really have to play in personalizing learning? Right? So if you just think for a moment here and have your own response, maybe for yourself, or just keep writing it along for better learning, understanding the concept. Okay. So we all think that technology can do something, cannot do anything. It helps in enhancing the quality of learning. It helps aid the learning process. Beautiful. With AI tools. Okay. Even if you use, so going forward in the session, do share what kind of, when we talk about when we look at a segment on what tools do we use. So just share your tools that you think you are using. Beautiful. So I am thinking, I mean, it's lovely to see that many of you think that technology does have a role. AI tools are here to make a difference, right? Yeah, exactly. Teachers as well as kids love to learn. Multi-sensory way of engaging. Okay, lovely. So we move on. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you for sharing all this. What we are going to explore in the session today is somewhere what we were thinking, the four big questions. What's the need? What is the relevance? Are we ready for it? And what is it that we need? And if we need technology, what are the various avenues to use technology, right? What is the technology available to me? Are you thinking about a projector? which just was introduced 20 years ago, right? And PPT and different modes. If that is technology, then it's a very limiting view. I would invite you to expand and think, how can I use it? What points can I use? Right? And even if I'm using, how can I use it better? What might be some other tools? Right? So going forward, I'll just be sharing a few thoughts on personalized learning. What is the data? What is the research? What does the study really show about personalized learning? Why should we do personalized learning? Like many of you also shared that we are different, or we have different abilities, we have different needs, right? So if I just ask you to think of personalized learning and tell me one word that comes to your mind when you look at this image. It's not new image, it's been circling around, but very deep, right? So what stands out for you? आपके लिए इस image में क्या लगता है which is very, remarkable? Can you just look at it and just see yourself in the image? Where are you as a teacher? And one powerful way that we reflected was, as a student, who do you think you are? And now you look at your teacher, you know? So the perspective. So what does this image tell you? One word, one word. One size fits all. Oh, there's a phrase. Individual differences. No image visible. Okay, please check your connection. Unfair, biased. Students with different qualities. Yeah. Yes. Vandana ma'am, please check. Individual differences. Yes, it stands out. What else? Each one have their strengths and weaknesses. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else comes to your mind when you think of personalizing learning? The ultimate objective, one end, we still have it, right? You want me to learn. You want me to explore. But what is the end marker that you have that I have learned? Yeah, diverse. Each one is unique. I want you to think all five fingers are not the same. Absolutely. Okay. So, do we think all learners are the same? They are not. Yeah, they're not. Ability, attitude. Does anybody also notice here the assessment criteria, the success criteria? You look at the success criteria. It says for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. Right? So even the monkey, the penguin, the crow, the elephant, the fish, the seal, everyone's everyone's diverse and gifted differently, right? Wired differently. But the success criteria, the assessment that we have, we want everyone to pass the same exam. And that criteria tells me that if you score above 90 or between this range, you are this, you are that, you are this. So this image does highlight diversity of learners. It does highlight how we overlook so easily. We overlook this diversity that is present before us, and it's not new. It has been staying big time, right? So can we now look at it and say, yes, I do feel that everybody needs to have the same scores, same band that I have you defined me, Rohit, Siddharth, or anybody here to say that, okay, you're a remarkable learner if you score this, or if you're able to pass with these many numbers? Think about the mindset that we all hold, right? We know everything flowery about personalized learning. Let's do a reality check here. Okay, the reality check. So from here it starts, and let's think about our classroom. How many times, and I just want to put a disclaimer, there's nobody right or nobody wrong here, right? We are just trying to find a way that helps us help our learners better. That's the only intention, right? Are you with me? So we are here to help ourselves and also our learners, right? So whatever we have done has been beautiful. Okay, great. From now, this point onwards, I want all of you to think and reflect and see what can be changed, right? So make this your own experience of personalized learning. Let's see how it translates for us. Yes, Rohit, you have anything to share?
Yeah, ma'am. before we move forward, I have a poll question for the
Okay,
audience that will give you an idea about what the problems they are facing.
absolutely.
So I'll just launch the question.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah,
everyone. Yeah, that's a big, lovely time to, pick up this question. Now you're
yeah,
thinking about your own context,
correct.
right? You're thinking in your class, in your school, in your, space where learning happens. What's the struggle? Beautiful. That's a lovely question here. What is the biggest challenge your school faces in implementing personalized learning? Okay. There are four options given to you. Please respond to the poll.
I think most of the audience don't have skilled teachers. That is a very big problem in Indian schools.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, upskilling, teacher upskilling is certainly an area to look at. Okay, 30 responses we have.
yeah. Here is the result. We had to stop the poll.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's fine.
yeah, most of the school owners have problems of lack of skilled teachers and followed by limited resources and infrastructure.
Yeah, parent involvement and support and student engagement goes the lowest. Beautiful. So that means that in the segment that we have today, all of us have a belief that it is the school which will be teachers, be it the resource or the infrastructure, whatever. Right? So teacher skilling and infrastructure both are hand in hand, I think. Both go hand in hand. Let's think about it. Okay, so if I have a great infrastructure which supports technology, I definitely have to have my teachers learn that. And it is vice versa as well. If as a teacher I am upskilled and my environment, the school does not have opportunities, then that is also a space to grow. Right? So thank you so much for your responses to the poll question, everybody. Can only be possible. Arohan, we'll certainly come to this question, how it is possible and how do we park so many things. Thank you for sharing. The way we learn, again, continuing with the previous slide, I'm just continuing here. Allow me to just continue and we'll take a little, we'll keep checking with you what's going on. Keep sharing your thoughts in the chat. All right, it's a free flow place. So the way we learn is certainly different. So I love this slide to say that how we are so different. We are same, but we are still very very different. Okay, so some of you highlighted on the needs, on the ability. Some of us can do, some of us cannot do. Who decides I cannot do? And if you want me to do everything like everybody, is it really fair? You check it. Is it really fair? So that means that there's a very famous factory model. Everybody has to pass the same standard, right? And then we say that's an ideal student. And you limit my opportunity as a student because I cannot write pen paper and you think I cannot learn. Think. I mean, that's the biggest realization even I had, right? So, as an educator, so we invite your attention to this fact check also. Let's try to introspect. Okay, what are my mental models here related to personalized learning? We'll come to that. So, just to give a quick reference here to say that our very adored and very much need of the hour today is NEP, of course, implementing NCF and all these recommendations. And a lot of maths and science data does highlight that the average scores and a lot of studies, if you look at, it does highlight that these areas are still struggling despite the curriculum, despite whatever we were doing, all these are still pending, right? So we're looking at 21st century skills. We're talking about future. Future is being created now. Now what is changing in my class, right? So you just reflect and let us all reflect around and see that, okay, what am I doing? So few slides, friends, just keep thinking about your own context. Okay, so 21st century skills, social emotional learning, we need curious. Look at the skill spectrum now. It says curious questioning, problem spotting, methodical testing, experimentation. Then we want students to quantify problems. We want them to create solutions, be problem solvers. If So isn't that a very tall order? And how do we do it? Right? So even if you look at the 21st century skills, it says critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. But we haven't really been so much trained on that. And you said it very beautifully on the poll. You responded that yes, we need upskilling, right? So with forums like this, upskilling opportunities are there. Thank you for being here one more time. I want to express that. And if we look at social emotional aspect to learning, that also has a key role to play. So as I work with UNESCO MGIEP, I understand how educators and school leaders and everybody needs to focus on that. Now the image, okay? All of you, I just want you to quickly put one word in the chat. Where do you think all your lessons as a teacher, where is it that I majorly focus? Do I focus on the taxonomy? This is our most favorite BEd, that learning model that we learned. So remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Where do you see that most of my plans fall? Where does your lesson plan majorly stop themselves? Or what skills do you focus in your class? Can you just put them in the chat quickly? Oh, lovely. It's good to see somebody that I work with, Akansha. Lovely. Welcome. Okay, evaluation. Understand, apply. Lovely. Evaluate. Create. That's also beautiful. Create, understand, apply. Okay. Sharmishta, thank you. So, as many of you are writing in the spectrum, we still are trying to see that there are many of our children are reaching, and how do we enable many of them to move from move up the pyramid. So therefore, the textbooks are changing. Therefore, the learning resources are changing. Apply. Okay. Create an understanding. So if you look at the connection, if you try to see how analyze, evaluate, and create are so closely connected to this, 21st century skills. And in fact, all of them are connected. They don't exist in isolation. So that's a pyramid. So from the base till the top, I slowly, slowly grow as a learner. Thank you. 95% remember. Thank you, Arun. That's a very honest view. So, in the schools, what the image, what the situation is, it just speaks for itself. Right. But yes, it is an opportunity for me to see where my learners are. In terms of numbers, if you just think you don't share with me, in a class of 30 or 40 or 50, how many learners reach, you know, different stages? Just think. Just keep that with you. You don't need to answer. All right. So the next model that we look at now is very simple on the fact that how has learning really evolved? Right? Why personalized learning? Why? I am a head teacher. Thank you. So, you know, how has learning really evolved? Let's look at it. So the traditional learning setup, the standard approach, that image, you see, everybody has to pass the same test, climb the tree, really ignored the fact that all of us are differently designed or differently, we have different choices, strengths, abilities, needs. There are some common factors like safety needs, security. I need that, emotional safety, mental safety, all that is common. Respect, all that is common. But my pace of learning can be different, right? So I need more practice. Maybe you don't need more practice. I need 20 sums. Maybe you are done with 5 sums, right? So, is there any opportunity for me to learn at my own pace? That's what personalized learning brings to us. It says customizes pace, speed, that is pace, style, and content for each learner, from simple to complex, right? And it examples include the different seating arrangements, like project based learning, differentiated instructions. All these are little examples to share that these are opportunities to personalize learning. How we become so standard in our approach. Like I want to give you one example here. Just the alphabetical order. How do you make a list? A, B, C, D. So all those whose names start with A always are A. So the list starts from A, B, C, D. In the class, my name starts with S. So it will always be towards the end. Yeah. So Rohit and I, RST will always be neighbors. RSTUV, right? So, but the so how this affected me. Once I did make the order different. Once I started the reward chart, the chart that we acknowledge, we give stars to students. I started it, from bottom up. I started from Y. I had a girl, Yashika. So I wrote Yashika and then the other names. And then A went last in the order. And this girl really comes up and tells me, "Oh, ma'am, this is for the first time I'm seeing my name, in the first five, in the first place. Otherwise, Y is always like that." You see how children relate their own self esteem, respect, and the way they see themselves. That my name is always in the end. Think like that. It's very difficult to beat. You think of yourself. If your teacher will always give you in the attendance call towards the end, you're so used to the end that you never try to go up towards the lead area. So that's an attitude, a silent bifurcation that happens. Just to bring that idea, I mean, it just clicked me so profoundly. I felt, oh my God, I never tried to change the list. Thankfully, I did try to start the class display list from Y so that others also have an opportunity. Right? One example. And this girl was so open to me after that. She started receiving so much. And we created a good bond. I don't know. It wasn't consciously done, but I just maybe felt like that. Right. So one example I just wanted to give you how little things matter. Just a timeline for all of us to see that when did it really begin? You know, when did we start saying that, all right, let's personalize learning, let's personalize learning. And in the digital era that we are in, we cannot but have to speak about the benefits that it brings, how this evolution is a gradual progression. It is not an overnight thing. It's a phenomena that has really, occurred in its own time and space. So I want to be tech enabled in using technology in my mobile, in my house, in everywhere. Why not learning? The key question. Why not learning? And what might be ways? So if you read it for yourself, I'm not going to read it, but that's just for reference here, right? So now we are in the time here when we say, okay, AI, but it was still evolved a few years ago. Now we are doing it now, right? Think like that. So what can we do? People started thinking about it. Now, if we just quickly go to this idea of what by definition personalized learning is, right? So, just for all of you, for us to anchor ourselves to this idea that this is an instructional approach that empowers students to build ownership of their learning. It is an active and ongoing process. When students get the instruction they need, when they need it, when I need it, not when you are ready to give me. They are more engaged, successful, and better prepared for lifelong learning. I give you one example. Very recently, I was in a workshop, and one teacher, biology teacher, she tells me that whenever I am teaching a concept, I talk of north, my students talk of south. Right? I am teaching digestive system. Student is talking about excretory system, and I cannot waste everybody's time in that moment. But I said, okay, would we have seen the connection between the two, right? Today I have planned to teach digestive system and you have asked me a question on excretory system. What does that mean? What might be some ways either the teacher was not prepared or I felt why to waste everybody's time. But what could have been a better way to approach this question? And this teacher simply said that I told him that we will do it some other day. Today focus on digestive system. Do you think in that case the student will really ask questions to the teacher? Or the student, what would the student have felt? Just think like that. Or what could have been a better way for me to respond to the question? Could have I said that, all right, they are too connected. Can we park 10 minutes of our lesson today to discuss this point? It's a beautiful point. It's a lovely connection because my body is ultimately related. It's all connected, right? So either if you're teaching me digestive system, my muscular system also has a role. Every system has a role in facilitating the other system, right? So just to highlight on the point, when they need it, not when you are ready, right? So when I am ready to learn, are you available with your resources? with your environment and infrastructure and in everything. That's where we are highlighting, right? That's why school have to also level up to see, all right, how can we cater to today's generation? Okay, so
Ma'am,
next quick, yeah, yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Since we talked about evolution right now and the use of technology in
yes,
personalized learning today, I
absolutely.
have another poll for the audience.
Please do.
Yeah, how integrated is technology in your current teaching practices? I would like everyone to engage with this poll, and we would love to know how much is technology integrated in your current teaching practices in your school.
Yes, they're responding beautifully. Please, everybody respond. Yeah.
Most of the audience is responding with partially integrated, as you
Yeah.
can see, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely. Some of us also have saying not integrated at all or very minimal. Okay, interesting. So, what might be certain challenges? I mean, as you are doing this, I want you to just think if you have responded to the poll. We'll also do that in just a few minutes from now. What are the challenges in integrating it, right? What is it that's maybe lacking? How integrated? Okay, lovely.
Yeah,
I,
almost
ev-
50% of the participants said it's
uh,
partially integrated.
yes, yes, beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your responses to the question here. Lovely. Okay, so moving forward, the crucial question is how do we really personalize learning? So I would say that first of all, as as facilitators, even if I'm a school leader, HOD, or whatever wing I'm working on, teaching, non-teaching, we all have to really believe in this idea that students are very important and their needs are also to be prioritized. So the mental model that I just shared this one example, two examples rather, that they are so subtle in our psyche that we don't even acknowledge that, all right, that's making an impact. That's making children feel differently. In my thought, in my head, I feel that I'm catering to everybody. But the impact is it's not reaching, right? So we must prioritize students as unique individuals with their own strengths, interests, and perspectives. And very important, one of my favorite aspect is creating supportive relationships, caring relationships. So that I honor students, that I love you, I acknowledge your presence in my class. It starts from there, a connection. When you say personal, it also says connection, right? So connection has to be there, and it says that as educators, can we all highlight that idea? I just want to bring this one image to you quickly. I'm also looking at the time that if you look at knowledge and information, the taxonomy that we connected, and you look at this education 4.0, this is World Economic Forum data, and they do talk about education 4.0, the version, of course, that we have now. If you look at knowledge and information, disciplinary knowledge, it's just one knowledge aspect. And if you look what we have to work around is attitudes and values. And if you read all the things on the right side, creativity, right from the top, even cognitive, analytical, social, physical. If you read creativity, critical thinking, where are we really including all this in our curriculum if we are so bombarded by the curriculum? And can we deliver the curriculum in using technology in an effective way is also a question, right? And what might be some tools that can help me complete curriculum, give students choices, personalize learning as much as possible, and try to assess students in a variety of formats. Can that happen? Right? So I want you to think of that magic, and I would say yes, that can certainly happen. Right? So we will share, and we are not here to actually look at anybody's fault, right? So it's fine. In the chat, I just read one response here, friends. All right, so just think of the fact that we need to do something better. Whatever we were doing was brilliant, but what best can we do? Let's look at that way. Okay, so that's the need. This also highlights the need. I would just like to say that personalized learning is student centered, as NEP says, student centered, student led, right? Approach to learning that calls on educators to be responsive to the needs. What's the need? If you all are sitting here, all of us have a need, right? What is the need of the children in my class? I spent good 1 year with them. And if I don't understand from the very beginning, now how do we do the need setting? You know, so I just quickly want to come to this idea. What are the components to facilitate personalized learning? How do I know what do they need? You know, so one good thing which always helped me was reflection and goal setting. In the very beginning, in the month of April or in the month of July, or with mid-year reviews, so I will say that, okay, Shweta, can you give me two goals in each subject or one learning goal as a learner? Where do you want to progress? And can you help me know in English, Hindi, maths, all subject teachers do set up some goal with children. That in maths, I want to improve my fractions by daily practice of 20 minutes every day. Okay. So that goal setting, the teacher sets a goal for the class, the children set goal for themselves, and we are talking so much about student portfolio. Can that goal sheet go into a portfolio? Certainly. A brilliant indicator to hold students accountable and say, hey, you set the goal for yourself, right? I am only helping you. Can we now quickly see the progress? So what we used to do was April we set the goal, July we review, then October we review, and then in January we review. And we course correct and we see, okay, where my students have reached, right? Then the second component, if you see, is, and then reflection also helps me to see what is the gap. For instance, uh, I have shown some video and students are still not clear about it. And many students are telling me as a teacher. So I need to reflect that my lesson needs to be better. I create extra resource and give extra resource to some students who need it more than anybody else, right? And engage them differently. I'll show you how I tried doing that. Then targeted instruction, if you see, it is simply that the example that I just gave you, who needs what? Extra class on excretory system? Okay. Extra resources? All right. There's a handout? Yes. Can we now look at it that how it is connected? How can I say that, all right, I will research and come back to you and tell you how all body systems are connected, right? So that's a targeted instruction when I understand that this section needs it. Collaboration and creativity, again, how students can see help, themselves to see that, like I told you this example, if I would have said 10 minutes on the class, 10 minutes towards the end of the class, we will discuss this point. So that was an opportunity where I could have invited everybody else, all the other students, to say, what do you think about this question? Are they connected? Is there any connection? And that's an opportunity for students to exchange ideas with each other. Why, as a teacher, only I need to do everything? Can I not help them personalize through peer to peer feedback and network? Right? I'll just show you one example of this beauty here, which I also tried and helped students learn. Right? So, flexible path and pace, students have the opportunity, you just give them a window to see. So, let me just share with you one more example if I can come to the screen that I want to see how I tried, this aspect clearly. 1 minute, just need to see. So I just want to show you one tool which I so beautifully tried to integrate, which is called Flip, right? We used to call Flip Grid, but now we call it Flip. Look at this. Look at this, yo. So what I tried, poetry recitation. I'm talking about pace. I'm talking about student choice. I'm talking about students doing things in their own time and space and also giving feedback to each other using technology. Right? So if you look at this example here, this is where I created a class. It's an open source available, flip.com, flipgrid.com, right? So I created a class here, 6th B, and I shared the link with my teacher, students, and I said, all right, everybody, can you please record your own recitations and put it on Flip in your own time and space. Hello everyone, my right? name is. So if you read this child who shared it, I mean, because there's a time constraint. I'm not going to show you how it is. But if you look at the opportunity of all the children simply trying to put things in their own time and space and recording the way they want. And if somebody does not want to show up a face, it's absolutely all right? So, how technology really helps student choice and help us go back to this idea that students can certainly pick to learn at their own pace and in their own time. And as a teacher, I just need to open that space. Rohit, is the presentation visible?
Yeah, it is.
Just give me an indication on time so that I'll just pace it up. I think I'm also looking at my watch, right?
We have like 15, 16 minutes.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, friends, quickly going on to this aspect, I think we want to save some time for question answers also. Key components of personalized learning. So, individualized learning plans, like I said, goal setting. If imagine if all 80 people here have a goal to say that, okay, from personalized learning, I want to know tools. I know the definition, but I want to know tools. Okay, I know some tools, but I want to know some assessment tools. All right, I know the assessment tools, but I want to understand how to cover syllabus, how to use it in maths, how to use it in science, how to use it in history, how in arts, music, dance, how can I integrate? You see, so that's one example of seeing that I know this, but can I tailor? Right? So that's where the opportunities lies here. Adaptive learning technologies, like I just shared with you, one of them. Tools that adjust the difficulty of task. Edpuzzle is one great tool that you can look at when you give students an opportunity. Competency based progression, unless now I think there are tools nowadays to say that first you answer this level and then the next level. So the gamification of learning, if you see different apps that do, what are they doing? They're simply helping you scale up. Once you have mastered this content, go next, go next, go next. So that's where the it also helps progressing. Even if you don't use technology, you can try simply leverage with different learning strategies. Empowering students to take control of their learning through choice and self assessment. A window to self assess also is very, very important. That's what it allows. Can you, if I have created a goal sheet and you give me a mid-year review, I will say, oh yes, I created a goal to study 2 hours every day or a practice maths 20 question every day, but I have not done. And now the course correction is I need to spend 20 minutes. Right? So with teacher and student, that kind of dialogue and rapport building happens, and then there, because you're genuinely interested in my growth, right? So goal setting also gives me a very personal feeling that I can enhance my goal. So these are certain benefits. If you see, how does it really help? Many of you also shared in the beginning that it does help learners addressing diverse needs, helping students become lifelong learners. Also, mastery. Content is still very relevant and important, but that is not the only thing which is important. There are various ways to transact content, right? So increasing student engagement and motivation, I think you all shared that. Now, quickly, I'm coming to this idea. What can we do as school leaders or teachers,
Ma'am,
right?
before we move ahead, I would just like to know what the audience thinks
Yeah.
the most significant benefits of personalized learning are. So
Mm.
I'm launching a poll.
Okay.
Yeah, so audience, please interact with the poll. Please let us know what do you think the most significant benefits of personalized learning are for your students.
Yeah. Okay. It's beautiful to see that many of them are saying increase student confidence and independence.
Yes.
See, they are, in fact, they are so connected with each other that if there is higher engagement, there is, of course, higher level of academic performance and also increased confidence. Yeah. And I feel independent as a learner and I do articulate that Rohit, you give me extra lesson, I need it. Or you give me a practice question, I need it. Lovely.
Yeah, as you can see, most of the audience shows increased student confidence and independence.
Dependence. So that also means that we all want them to be confident and independent. And that it also highlights the idea that currently maybe they are not so confident and maybe not so independent, right? Maybe we can look at that idea. What might be that's a need. Great. Thank you for the poll, Rohit. All right. So just to see where we can go further when we have acknowledged it is needed, is it beneficial, what can we do, and we have done some checks for ourselves. Now provide pre-service and in-service educators with experiences. Like I just shared, digital literacy, digital pedagogy. Very, very important. And all of you did highlight that we need to put focus on there. Then using technology to provide access to learners, right? Better learning opportunities, helping teachers become skilled, right? So even if the skilling is not there right now, but there are some supported softwares, right? That can be used. I think these guys are going to talk about it. But how can we still slowly take time in teacher capacity building and also use some ready-made tools and softwares in our school? Even if you do one tool per week, you try to take it and explore, or maybe two in a month. Think 24 almost, or say at least 20 tools in a year we achieve, right? So that's how the numbers really look like. I think I just have one little input to show you here. 1 minute. Can you see my screen? Rohit, is it visible? The switch?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
So if you look at this little visual, I request everybody to, you can even search. We can give you the link, no problem. We'll provide you. If you really are confused that, okay, what might be certain tools that I can use? Like we have all highlighted that technology can help. How? So, how do we really use the tools? So, if you look at the whole idea, this is the whole bunch here. What might be tools? Some text-based tools. So, I will share this link with you. How can I enable these opportunities for students to try? And if you think your teacher upskilling is a little issue, and so one quick solution that I think we can provide you is this. You try to take this link. Let me put this in the chat only. It's a very no, it's not possible. Yeah. We'll share it, I think, with everybody that how this interactive really allows you to learn. You can share it with your teachers, have it with you. What might be some tools that I can use, how to use? Can I try some tools? So self learning at its best. This is one big repository of so many tools, which we cannot right now explore, but you can explore it in your own time. How teachers can use digital story tools. Right. So I just want to show you one thing, like I showed you Flipgrid. I also want to show you this, in language or even in maths and science, if you want to do. How did I use one lovely tool that I always use, Padlet? Like we're talking about collaboration, right? So free tools which are easily available. If you see, so much stress we are giving on reading, critical thinking, reading, creativity, reading, writing, poetry, whatever you think of it, and it is there, right? So reading, writing is big struggle that we think, and we have some fear around saying how technology can enable writing. You see, my friends, how it has really, really enabled. It has not robbed students the opportunity to write. See, they've really, really written beautifully. So this is seventh grade that I'm sharing with you, and they had an opportunity to write small, big, longer responses, shorter responses in their own time, at their own pace, whichever way they want. Right? So it just you have to think differently how to use it. And if you see some columns which are free, that means that's my data to see, all right, this child really needs help. This child has understood everything so beautifully. So when I was teaching in the class, I used to use tools like this, and they've really been very hit with students. They know that my teacher is so up with technology. She allows us to use it, right? So if I spot mistakes here like character and all that, and I keep observing, all right, this child really needs help with spelling. So I correlate, right? So that's a beautiful data point as well. And even with the teacher reading club, I've tried the same thing, you see. It's not come out so beautifully as with students, but I'm hoping that it will for teachers as well, right? So that's where I think we are sitting, and we would really want that students must get this opportunity to use different tools that they can, be used to leverage. So this question I had, I think we have already covered this through our poll questions and responses in the chat. So the future, basically, just to leave you on this idea that how technology really helps in personalizing learning, and how future of learning starts with this present. If it is there in my class right after this workshop, if you start using at least two tools, that's going to be a great beginning, right? So let's not just simply take any action. Awareness plus action is equal to impact. That's what the impact is. I think with that, I just want to leave you with this little slide. We all are sitting with VR, AR, what's coming up, right? So let's see how can we bring it to our children and in our classrooms. How can we use assessments differently? How can we transact lessons differently? How can we help students do collaboration differently? How can we in person and online, can we balance it out, right? And can we move from only projector or PPT to many tools that are available? So with that, I think I would just like to stop here, and would like
Thank
to, yeah, give some time for feedback. And there's a little Padlet link that I think I have. Rohit, can I share that in the chat?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
While we are on the question of Q&A, thank you for the detailed insights, Shweta ma'am. I'm sure the audience have a few follow-up questions for you,
Absolutely.
basis your presentation. I request them to share their questions using the Q&A button, Q&A chat box that you see at the below of the screen, or type them in the chat. That is also no problem. And while Shweta ma'am, you go through them, I would just request Mr. Siddharth, who works as a brand and content manager at Lead Group, to quickly introduce Lead Group to all the people who have joined us today. Okay, Siddharth, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rohit. And thank you so much, Shweta ma'am, for this session. It was very insightful. I also got to know a lot about personalized learning, and I'm sure the audience also might have gained, a lot of insights. Okay, so, I'll just move into what we at Lead Group do for the audience who is joining us for the very first time. So Lead Group actually is India's largest and fastest growing school edtech organization. We are driven by a mission and vision to make excellent education accessible for every child across India, and we aim to provide propulsive learning to more than 26 million students across 60,000 schools by 2028. This vision has been very thoughtfully designed by our co-founders Sumit Mehta and Smita Deora in 2012, and numbers speak. So we have successfully implemented Lead Group's solutions across 9,000 schools in more than 400 cities, and engaged more than 5 million students. And in order to engage more with our schools, we even acquired the India K-12 business of Pearson, so that our reach is wider and people get to know that how we are transforming schools across India. Right. So what Lead Group also does is it transforms classrooms with the help of curriculum and technology. We provide world-class books from the house of our own house, which is Lead, and as well as Pearson. We make learning engaging, and that is through audiovisual learning with TVs in each classroom for each core subject every period. There is kinesthetic learning, for school activity kits, which is provided through school activity kits. The other that we do is, English language is something that, is quite essential. Every child, needs to be, taught English in a great way. And this we have developed through our own in-house program, which is known as ELGA, and where every student is mapped according to their learning, because not all children learn at the same pace. And at the same time, we give our students exposure to various events and formats by conducting India's biggest student championships in the form of lead championships, and also help develop personality skills in students with the help of master classes through celebrities like Madhavan and Chetan Bhagat. That is what we do here. We also transform your teachers into super teachers. And how do we do that is we basically provide tabs to every teacher with all lesson plans and resources built in, which makes every teacher's life easier. There are also programs for teachers that we provide, self-paced certification programs, which they can use to upskill themselves. There are also in-person training sessions wherein our own academic experts visit the school and they guide the teachers on how they can better themselves and in turn improve a student's learning outcomes. Shweta ma'am talked about technology and how it revolutionizes personalized learning. To do this, we have our own AI assessment builder, Jasper, which provides an end-to-end integrated assessment system with remedials, which you can modify based on to suit your needs on various rigor and topics. And all of this is customized as per every child. So it makes learning even more interactive and also takes the school and the teachers and the students as well a step closer to personalized learning. Also, we make a life easier for school owner and a principal through our own academic ERP and through digital assessments that we provide, which also helps in providing real-time insights on students for parents, and also helps them communicate, helps them know what all is happening in their child's school. Besides that, to acquaint a school with lead group, we help in setting up an experience hub, and also we do a teacher as well as a parent orientation to acquaint them with the various practices that will be involved while setting up the lead group integrated system in their school. And well, yeah, that's it. So we have a multitude of solutions which are present on your screen right now, which and we have different solutions for every school. So you can, give a missed call on the number or email, or, just visit our website and we will get in touch with you. So yeah. So yeah.
Great, great.
So,
Thank you.
I'll just give it back to Shweta ma'am for the question and answers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Siddharth. I believe there are no questions from the audience up until yet.
Yeah.
It was a very insightful and very well taken session by Shweta ma'am. So yeah,
We had, I just want to come up. There is
yeah,
a question. There was a question in the Q&A saying if the links or the names of the tools can be shared.
right.
I just want to one more time, first of all, give you the Padlet. Thank you so much for putting up your thoughts on the Padlet. Right. So it's a great thing first to try hand things by you and then taking it to students. Another thing that I want to quickly switch to is the link for Genially. Right. So I'm putting it for everyone. I have put it in the chat once, but let me put it one more time. Where does it take you? The Genially link. It is a repository of so many links. Right now we can explore just a few of them, but you can check out many others, right? So I don't know, my screen sharing is still paused, right? So try this link. I have put it in the chat one more time. Uh, yeah, this link really allows you. I was just trying to show up that if this link is giving me this opportunity, no, it takes me back to the feedback only. No worries. Can you check this link so that it does work? Okay, so everyone, the link is here again one more time. It is a repository of digital resources and tools. You may please use them for your students and for yourself. हिंदी में बात कर सकते हैं, हिंदी में भी बात कर सकते हैं. आपने अब जाके बोला, तो अगर आपको कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज आप अभी भी पूछ सकते हो. आई मीन अभी ट्रेन बाकी है, गए नहीं है. So if anybody has any question, please do ask. Very, very important to ask question. We have some hands raised. Pampa Das. Can we allow her to, you know,
No, I don't think we have that feature yet.
time?
But
Okay,
yeah, ma'am,
no problem.
people who have raised hand, please ask your questions in the chat box, and Shweta ma'am would be more than happy to answer your questions.
Yes, certainly. And also, one thing that I want to share to, with all of you is that you can still continue your journey. It doesn't stop with this one session. Keep exploring, keep trying, keep, seeing things through. The Genially link that I just thought, I have put this link in the chat, right? Just click, put it in the browser and click on what purpose you have, and you have so many tools. How do I use it? That also it allows. It's a very interactive system. Okay. So feel
Ma'am,
free that you're supported. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Arohan sir has asked a question.
Hmm.
95% of schools are lacking in tech integration. Then how is personalized learning possible?
Beautiful. Yes. So if so, can we also look at this idea that not we are nowhere saying that personalized learning is possible only through technology, right? So think of the goal setting sheet. What I love to do always was see, technology also has some role to play, but only in the fact that when I have to do so much and so less. So I will give you this example. If there is no infrastructure that is there, or if there is no, one is if upgradation is underway. Second is a solution like they shared lead, school provides tablets or different environment. Third is if at all there is nothing available, children have smartphones. Many apps work on there. Even teachers have their own phones, right? So these apps that I just shared, they do work on it. Padlet works on mobile. Flip works on mobile. It does take some space, but until then, you can use. So that's one solution. Second, even if there's no technology available at all, which I think we all fail to believe, may not be a computer or a projector, but there are different mediums available. We can use pen paper for a goal setting. I can still ask my students to review their performance. I can still try to plan my lessons in a way that, when all children start with questioning. So start taking questions. Create a parking lot in the class. I'm telling you, learning will be personalized. Create a parking lot. Ask students to post 2 questions every day, right? Anything and everything. You try. They post questions, you will get to understand what are they thinking. Are they asking you about only subject that you teach? But they want to know from you many other things about life, many other things about skill, many other things about how to take feedback, how to deal with a friend. You see, so when you say personalized learning, I'm not saying just talk about maths, Hindi, science, history, the life skills. How would you know that I am upset today? Right? So that check-in can also happen. So my questions will always give you an indication on where is my thinking pattern going. Am I thinking about the subject, or am I thinking about something else? Right? So when you talk about social emotional learning, and when you talk about putting academic performance in the forefront, just open the idea to students that today I am interested in knowing how are you feeling, right? So that also becomes a personalization opportunity. If I say, I am upset today, ma'am, can you not take this test that I have to do, multiple assessment? Can I do it tomorrow? If possible. And I'm sure internal assessments can all be managed. I can say, all right, let's reschedule the assessment. Maybe the class is not ready. That is also an example of personalized learning. Why should I just limit my spectrum to technology? But yes, it is an important factor because we are living in this era and we definitely must leverage some form or the other. If that answers the question. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, we'll take just one last question because we are running out of time. Jawahir Rana sir asks how to develop ownership of learning.
Interesting. So that's a very interesting question. I wish we could have really had a conversation on that. So I will just drop maybe this idea that How do we have student taking ownership of learning? Interesting. So it's a process, Jawad. Very deep question. Thank you for asking. It's a process. I won't become take my ownership just because you are telling me. So it's a process. Through again, I said, start doing goal setting reflection. Start making children feel that you matter more than this test, more than pen paper assessment, CBSE assessment. I am concerned on thinking, how are you feeling? So it has great value. Connection. I would say that when I take ownership of my classroom, somebody wrote in the very beginning, role modeling. So once I start role modeling, I think students will definitely take ownership and can be hit it back on them without making them feel personally about it, without judging. सबसे पहले तो जज करना बंद कर दें, बच्चों के साथ एक नेगोशिएशंस बनाए, अग्रीमेंट्स बनाए. मतलब हम क्लास में ये करते थे, वी लव डूइंग इट. हम ऐसे क्लास के बाहर लगाया हुआ था कि इन द रूम नोबडी जजेस ईच अदर, राइट? यू आर फ्री टू explore, talk, be silly, but be respectful. But try that you are respectful and polite, that you learn to manage your conflicts. And when you start showing trust in me, I start showing trust in my learning, right? So I think if I've been, it's a very deeper conversation and there are no fixed step to it. But yes, short way is if I feel safe, secure, and connected, I would definitely start listening to you. And when I start listening to you as a teacher, as an educator, you have a responsibility to make me, absorb that slowly and steadily through continuous support and trust building. You say, okay, you can't do it today. Let me help you. But listen to me before you help me help me say that you become owner of your own learning. Can you make me self aware? Self awareness is the key. If you want to write, you write self awareness. Now, research, there are 100 tools to build self awareness. I think that's what I want to just stop saying this here. If that answers, yes.
Yeah, very well put, ma'am. Very well put.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the insightful and fun session, Shweta ma'am. Due to limited time, we have to conclude the session here. But I'm sharing the link to the feedback form in the chat. So audience, please share your feedback on the webinar. And if we could not answer your question today due to lack of time, you may contact
Yeah.
us using the phone number and email ID I am currently sharing in the chat right now.
Yeah. And if Rohit, if that's all right, I can also drop my email if
Yeah,
anybody wants to write.
yes,
You may
yes,
directly write, connect through my email, and we would be happy to
yes,
answer. Thank you for
yes.
your presence, everyone.
Thank, thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks. And thanks, audience. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Rohit Siddharth. Bye bye, Shalini. See
Bye.
you.